Welcome everybody to my ranking of Breaking Bad. This is one of the greatest shows ever made. It is one of my favorite shows ever made, and I am really excited to do this ranking so I can talk about this show in its entirety. But before I do, I want to say two things real quick. One is I will be splitting season 5 into 5A and 5B. I will be separating them all. So where it's going to be the 6 seasons of Breaking Bad, 1 through 5, and then 5B split into 2. And I'm also going to throw in El Camino because I fracking loved it, and I also want to talk about that one as well. So with that being said, let's not waste any time. This is probably going to be a pretty long video as this is a very long show, and let's get into it. Also, one more thing I almost forgot to say is I think every single season of this show is phenomenal. I think every single season is 5 stars, 10 out of 10, whatever you call the highest level of anything. That's what I think every single season of Breaking Bad is, as well as El Camino as well. So, for those reasons, this is not going to be worst to best. This is going to be least phenomenal to most phenomenal. With that being said, let's get into it. And coming in at the number 7 spot on this list for me, I am giving it to season 3. I know season 3 is phenomenal. It hurts me to put season 3 as the lowest one, but it is for me the weakest one. I still think it's great, but season 3, of course, you get the conclusion of you get the start of Jesse trying to recover from the Jane incident, which is a huge part of season 2. You also get the introduction of Gus, and he becomes a much bigger character. He's not quite at his full as he is. He's not quite at his peak as like he is in season 4, but you get him a lot in this season. You get a lot to do with him, and the falling off with Gus and Walt kind of starts off in this season, especially at the end with half measures and full measures. Of course, you get this huge kind of hit out on them, like Jesse is pissed at Gus's men because they use kids and they killed one of his friends, and then you get this part where Walt tries to protect Jesse by taking out these two guys, and then he's on Gus's radar. Gus wants him done for, so he's trying to get rid of him. He's trying to plot these schemes so he can finally get rid of Walt, trying to get Gail Bedecker in here, who was a big character in season 3, he's trying to get Gail Bedecker to be able to make the product by himself without Walt's help so that he can kill Walt, and Walt figures this out and gets Jesse to go take out Gail Bedecker, and it's this awesome 1-2 punch, as Cody Leach calls it, where you get half measures and full measures, that 1-2 punch, and it's really awesome. Another really great thing about season 3 is, of course, you get the Salamanca twins coming after Hank and Walt for the death of Tuco, and these characters are so scary and so effective. They barely say anything in the entire show, and they're so freaking scary. I know these characters have a huge part in Better Call Saul, but I've still never gotten into Better Call Saul. I watched like the first 2 episodes, and it didn't hook me yet. So one of these days I'll go back to that because I hear they're big characters in that show. But you get those characters, and they are insane. They lead to one of the best episodes in the season, 1 Minute. How can you not love that episode, man? That episode is so awesome, where you get this freaking awesome this segment of Hank in his car. He gets this phone call who you know is from Gus, and is like, "You have 1 minute. These assassins are coming." I don't remember it 100%, but it's something like that. And these guys, and he's just like counting down, and it gets to that 1 minute mark, and it's just like, and then he sees these 2 guys coming out, and he's like, "Oh shit, this is real." Backs up into the other one. Like, 1 Minute, definitely one of the best episodes in that season. I do think that this season is absolutely phenomenal, but for me, it is the one I'm going to put at the lowest because, like I said, every single season of this show is phenomenal. So, number 7 is season 3. Coming in for me at number 6 is season 5A. Now, I really love this one, and it hurts me to put this one this low as well because I don't think I really need to keep repeating that. Just basically assume that exact sentence for every single one of these. I hate that I have to put it this low, but I seriously do. I really do like season 5A. You get this, my favorite part about season 5A is the entire train segment. It is one of my top 5 favorite moments in the entire show. This train moment is so fucking awesome. It's super anxiety filled, and it's just like the whole time this thing is going down, it's this insane plot scheme that they've got going on. It seems like it's absolutely ridiculous, where they try and rob this train full of methylamine before it actually gets there, and replace the methylamine with water because they need the methylamine to do their to make their product, obviously. And it's seriously such an awesome scene, and it concludes with that one scene with Todd and the kid on the bike is just, wow, man. That segment, easily one of my all-time favorites. Another great thing about season 5A is you get the entire thing with the magnet, and of course, the absolute, my favorite Jesse Pinkman line of all time. Yeah, bitch, magnets. Oh, that line, man, I quote that line on like a daily basis. I love that line so much. So while I love season 5A and I hate to put it this low, honestly, like I said before, every single season is phenomenal, and ranking this is incredibly difficult because they're all so freaking good. But for me, I'm putting number 6. I'm giving season 5A to number 6. For me, it's of the ones that were left to rank, it's the one that I love the least. Coming in at the number 5 spot on this list, I am giving it to El Camino. Now, while I absolutely friggin' love El Camino, I will say this, I don't think it was 100% necessary. And that's my biggest complaint with El Camino as a whole. I absolutely loved El Camino. I loved it. Jesse Pinkman is my favorite character in the show. And to get this concluding chapter with him and for it to be made so competently and so great, it was phenomenal. But I will say, when it came to ranking this, I did have to think to myself, this movie, we didn't need it. It's not a necessary movie by any means. The way Jesse Pinkman ends off in the actual show, the final comfort, the final scene of him driving out of the neo-Nazi camp in the El Camino is more than enough to satisfy me, but I loved El Camino. And talking about this movie, how great it was, everything they did with this movie was such an awesome thing from the very beginning when Jesse goes and meets with Skinny Pete and Badger again, and they kind of help him out, help him kind of get away from what's going on and try and get back into the swing of things. And you get these flashbacks with Todd, and Jesse Plemons is really, really great in these as well. And he is the stature wise a little bit different from the last time you seen him, but of course, really, really, really love those segments of them kind of flashing back, and you have all these great scenes with him, and then it cuts to Jesse kind of trying to find Todd's money in his apartment. He's tearing this entire apartment to shreds, and he's got this awesome overhead shot of Jesse just running around in the apartment, looking in every single nook and cranny for this money. Really awesome. But I have to say, my favorite scene in El Camino is the scene when he goes to the ironworks place, the dudes, the guys who were also trying to rob Todd's little supply of money, and this amazing scene when they're basically having a duel, and Jesse totally fucking pranks the guy and shoots him with an extra gun in his pocket, like immediately upon. He doesn't even draw the original gun. He shoots him through his pocket with this other gun he has. It was so fucking awesome. Love the shit out of El Camino, but it's gonna go to this spot on the list just because it is a little bit unnecessary, I think, but I still absolutely love it. El Camino, number 5. Coming in at the number 4 spot on this list for me is going to be Season 2. Season 2, you get the conclusion of the character of Tuco, and I think his conclusion was absolutely awesome. These amazing episodes of him driving out Walter and Jesse into this desert, into this little house, cottage, hut thing, and you get there and you meet one of my favorite characters in the entire show, top 5 favorite characters, Hector Salamanca, and this guy is like the biggest badass ever, and he is a paralyzed dude in a chair with a bell, and he is somehow the most badass character in this entire season. I absolutely freaking love this character. This whole time, this guy is there, and you're just kind of thinking to yourself, what the hell is with this guy? What is going on? And then you get that scene when Jesse and Walter are trying to poison Tuco, and they put the ricin in his burrito right before he comes back, and Hector sees all of it, and Tuco comes back, he's getting ready to eat it, and right before he eats it, ding! He's like, what the fuck is your problem? He starts, and the dudes and Walter and Jesse are just like, just freaking out over there, and he goes to eat it again, ding! It is the most tension fucking filled shit I have ever seen, and from that point on, you know that this dude, he sees everything, he hears everything, he knows what's going on, and who you originally think is not a threat at all, because they portray him well as like not a threat, just kind of this dude is there, and all of a sudden he becomes the absolute biggest problem for these guys, and it is awesome. And that character continuously fucks things up for these characters as this show goes on, and then his amazing end in season 4. Oh god, I absolutely fucking love Hector Salamanca. Another reason why I need to watch Better Call Saul. Apparently Hector Salamanca is a huge character in that show as well. So absolutely love those episodes, and I have to say those shots of Tuco and Walt and Jesse in the desert, the shot of him like kicking Tuco into the pit, and he's like, oh my goodness, that shot is so awesome. Then you get Hank driving out there, he pops the fucking Tuco in the head. That entire sequence is fucking awesome with Jesse's car just bouncing the whole time. God, I fucking love those episodes so much. But the reason I am putting it at number 4 and not higher, because obviously I love this season just as much as every single one of these seasons. God, this is the most difficult ranking ever made. Ranking this show is fucking impossible. But the thing that that made me put it this low is that after those first 2 episodes, the show kind of goes to a screeching halt, and a screeching halt. You get Walter is trying to convince his family that he was in a fugue state and all this, and he keeps on lying and lying and lying to Skyler, and Skyler becomes a lot more. Skyler goes from kind of intolerable to this absolutely insufferable human being, and we'll get into Skyler a little bit more when we get to season 4, but just the middle section of this season for me is probably the slowest and weakest part of the entire show, which is why for me I'm putting it this low, even though it has all these amazing sequences as well, and of course the entire thing that this season builds up to, the 2 planes crashing over Albuquerque. So awesome. You get the amazing character of Jane, played by fucking Kristen Ritter, who I absolutely love. I love Kristen Ritter. Oh my god, I love Kristen Ritter, and she is so great in this show. I love her to death. Her end is it's heartbreaking. Everything about that character, every second of Jane's screen time, absolutely love it. Her relationship that she develops with Jesse. Aaron Paul absolutely killing it with his acting chops in this season, especially which continues into season 3 with the death of Jane and him kind of trying to get back into the swing of things after this huge loss. So fucking good. I am putting season 2 at number 4. It might not be a popular decision, but it's the one I'm going with just because those first couple episodes with Tuco for me are enough to make this season 10 out of 10 alone. And of course the entire build up to the plane crashing, to the planes crashing over Albuquerque, because Jane's father is all torn up about it, and he goes to work way faster than he should have, and he ends up crashing the 2 planes together because he's an air pilot control person type thing. So awesome. I love season 2, but that's where I'm putting it on the list. Coming in at the number 3 spot for me is going to be season 1. I absolutely love season 1. I know most people are going to say season 1 is probably their least favorite, but I absolutely love this season. I will say this, and I will say this with no shame. This Walter White is my favorite Walter White, period. I still don't love him, and I'll be honest, I don't love Walter White as a character. He kind of drives me insane, but this is my favorite version of Walter White. This is the version where he's just now starting he's starting to get into the business that he's in. The first episode, of course, is honest to God, maybe even my favorite pilot of all time. Like, that episode is absolutely flawless from start to finish. I love that episode so much. The original, honestly, dude, if you're watching this video and you haven't watched Breaking Bad, just watch the pilot alone. You'll be instantly hooked. I guarantee you, the pilot is that freaking good. And this season is just kind of the build-up that Walter White has. You know, these amazing segments of you have this plot where Jesse brings out Crazy 8 and what's his name, Emilio, and they have to figure out a way to deal with these guys, and shit goes in an entirely bad direction for them, and these 2 guys are left. One of them's dead, one of them is like barely clinging to life, and they flip the coin, and whoever has to deal with the corpse and who has to deal with the living guy, and the way it all plays out, and the way how they kind of the whole thing with Walter White, he digs the plate out of the trash can that broke, and he realizes that Crazy 8 has one of the freaking pieces of plate because he's getting ready to free him, he's getting ready to let him go and risk him coming back and killing him and his entire family, and then he realizes that sliver of plate is missing, and he's like, no, I was gonna let you go. It was absolutely brilliant. I love the shit out of season 1. For me, it's number 3 for me. But it just, I also think that this season is legitimately funny. There's a lot of really funny segments in this season I really, really love. Of course, you have "fuck you" and your eyebrows. One of my favorite quotes in the entire show. This season is hilarious. He also, of course, have all those awesome segments with Walter White. Kind of, he keeps running into this fucking douchebag business guy with his little Bluetooth speaker and his super nice car, and Walter White is just like, fuck this guy, blows his fucking car up for no reason. Love season 1, love it so much. I think season 1 is just a little bit stronger than those other ones. I still, like I said, every season is phenomenal. This is the hardest ranking I've ever done in my life. But seriously, love season 1, number 3. Coming in at number 2 for me, these are the big two. These are usually everybody's favorite. Where do I stand when it comes to these last two? For me, number 2 is season 5B. I love this season. I love this season so much. This is 8 episodes, I think. I'm pretty sure it's 8 episodes of just perfection. Absolutely perfection. Some of like the best 8 episodes of TV you will ever watch. You have Hank has figured out what is going on with Walt. He figured out, he knows Walt is Heisenberg. He knows everything that he puts everything together. He realizes everything that he fooled him on, and he's so pissed, and all he wants to do is take down Walter, and he will stop at nothing to do it, even going as far as to completely disregard himself from the DEA entirely, because he knows no one is going to be able to believe that Walter White is Heisenberg, so he has to take him down himself, and he teams up with Jesse, and oh my god, Jesse in this season. This is the season that made Jesse my favorite character, man. He is so phenomenal in this season. When Jesse realizes that Walt was the one that lifted the cigarette off of him and poisoned Brock, that scene when he crashes into Saul Goodman's office is just the ricin'! Fucking incredible. That fucking scene, man. Aaron Paul is an absolutely insane actor. That scene is what made me love him so much. And then, of course, you got the scene of him going back to Walt's house. He's gonna set the whole place on fire. Hank runs in. He can't keep getting away with it! Fucking love it, man. Fucking love it. I love Jesse Pinkman in this season so much. And then, of course, you get Ozymandias and Felina and... oh, shit, what's the other one? The other epilogue episode. Felina is the season finale. Ozymandias is the kind of before the epilogue season finale, or is that the prologue? I think that's actually the prologue. So fucking good, man. So fucking good. Ozymandias is absolutely insane. That episode is gut-wrenching, anxiety-filled, so fucking great. Of course, the end of Hank Schrader, which is just the most... that, when that happens, holy shit, man, I was completely, like... I was just stunned disbelief that it actually happened. So insane. Ozymandias is insane. Felina, probably like the best finale I have ever seen, period. That finale is perfect from start to finish. You have Walter White trying to come up with this way to get this money to his family. He comes up with this scheme to also get his revenge on Gretchen and Elliot as well. He settles the score with everybody in this one freaking season. He settles the score with his wife, but there's still more. He has to get Jesse out of that camp. He has to save him somehow. So he comes up with this ingenious plot, creates this fucking spinning machine gun thing, goes to this neo-Nazi camp, and figures out this way to just annihilate every single one of them, throws Jesse to the ground, hits that button, machine gun comes out of the trunk, just lays waste to these neo-Nazis, all except for that one little piece of shit Todd, and Jesse gets to strangle the life out of that little fucker himself. Felina is absolute perfection. Season 5B is absolutely phenomenal. It is one of my favorite seasons of the entire show. It's number 2, but for me, number 1, it goes to season 4. I love season 4 so much. It might be my favorite season of television ever made. This season is it's the ultimate chess match between Walter White and Gustavo Fring, and it is phenomenal. From the very beginning to the very end, like you're coming off of Full Measures, which is when Walter White orders this kind of hit on Gail Bedecker, and Gus is fucking done with this guy. All he wants to do is get rid of Walter White. He's so done with him. And the way Walter White goes about this situation, like screaming at him through these cameras, getting super mad about everything, it is just this chess match between them, and oh my god, the opening episode, Box Cutter, that episode alone, one of my favorite episodes in the entire season. This huge build up to this insane fucking ending, of course, when you just have them sitting in the lab, and Victor even like proves to them, oh, anybody can make your recipe, your product, ain't anything special. And then Gus comes down and you get this like 5-minute segment of Gus just putting all this gear on, gets that box cutter, and you have no idea what's going on, and all of a sudden just slices Victor's throat and just fucking lets him spew blood all over the place. That episode single-handedly turns Gustavo Fring from a character like when Gus first comes into the picture in season 3, he's cool, but he doesn't become like Gustavo Fring, ultimate badass, like best villain in television history until this season, this episode in particular, and then every episode in this entire season. It is just Gustavo Fring versus Walter White from start to finish, and it's absolutely fucking phenomenal. Gustavo Fring is my favorite villain in this show. He is just top-notch villain. He is terrifying. He's a total badass, and he's just this sophisticated businessman. He wears these dorky glasses. He looks like he honestly looks like a super dork, and somehow he is this incredibly badass character that you don't want to fuck with at all. And Walter White constantly like provokes him and does anything, and you're just sitting here like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you have a dream come true right now. Like, the way Walter and Jesse handle this, man, it is awful, because Gustavo Fring really is a dream come true. You're making shitloads and shitloads of money in this absolutely incredible laboratory where you're doing what you're super good at doing, and you're being paid millions of dollars to do it. And what does he do? He throws it away. Now, I will admit, Jesse kind of had his reasons, but Walter, not so much. Walter kind of drove me crazy in this season, and that is why I think the chess match between him and Gustavo Fring is so phenomenal. Another thing I love about season 4 is this is the season where Skylar White kind of becomes awesome. I really love Skylar White in this season. She kind of gets in on the crime, kind of starts laundering his money, buys this car wash. She develops this huge scheme to get Bogdan off of it because he refuses to sell it to her because Walter fucking, humiliated him and shit. And that entire scheme that she comes up with, where she gets Bill Burr's character to like go in there and like come up with this scheme of like water and whatnot, of like the water is like polluted and whatnot. He has to sell her the car wash. So awesome. I fucking love Skylar White in this season. She's honestly kind of a badass. You like all the scenes when Skylar White is like trying to figure this out, and she's like what's it fucking called? She's got like the phone, and she keeps like hanging it up to get the price to go down. She's awesome. I love Skylar White in this season. She's another thing I love about this. And of course, the finale. How can we not talk about the finale? The finale of this season, so incredible. Walter White he is completely at a loss for how to take out Gus, and it is just like from that scene when Gustavo was like, I will kill your whole family, they are just at heads, and it is just this battle to the death, and Walter White just trying to figure out how on earth he can beat Gus, how he can find this, how he can do just any way he can. He can't even get Jesse to do it because Jesse's completely against him now. It is fucking insane. And then he finally convinces Jesse that it wasn't him, even though, we know how that went. We know how that goes down in season 5B, but seriously, I absolutely fucking love season 4. I think it's phenomenal, and my goodness, that final confrontation with Hector and Gustavo Fring is like, he's ready to take him out. Oh my god. And Hector, when he's like, need DEA, and he brings him over to the DEA, and he's just like, fuck you, suck my, and they're just like, well, that was a waste of time. All to just get Gustavo Fring on the case with Hector, and Gustavo goes over there, talks to Hector, he's getting ready to put him down, and Hector's just all of a sudden, he's talking to him like, is this how you want to go out, Hector? Like a rat? And then all of a sudden, Hector's just like, bing, 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 and Gustavo just realizes what just happened, blows the whole fucking room up, walks out, half of his face is missing, and just falls to the ground. It is perfection. Season 4, hands down, is my favorite. I think it's the best season of television you'll ever watch. Season 4, absolutely perfect. It's like 11 out of 10, 100 out of 10. I love it. I love season 4 of Breaking Bad so much. with that being said, everybody, there you have it. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section down below, how do you rank Breaking Bad? And do throw El Camino in there as well, because I feel like El Camino is definitely worth grouping in there with Breaking Bad, because, you know, it's kind of the final little goodbye. Now, obviously, I'm sure I'm probably going to maybe get a couple people saying, well, if you're going to put El Camino in here, you probably should have put Better Call Saul in here as well. I just haven't watched Better Call Saul. I really should, though. I really should get on that, because, yeah, I love Saul Goodman in the show as well, so there you have it, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to check out the Discord. Link will be in the description down below, where we can chat and talk about all things horror or Breaking Bad if y'all want to talk about Breaking Bad some more. Yeah, hit me up down there at Discord. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more. And this is DK Guillotine, signing out. I am the one who knocks.